What is good, everybody? Man, it's your boy Jay in the building. We're back again with another video. Alright, so this is game week. This is championship week. This is Celebration Bowl week. I know we are all excited about it. It is days away. We all know that the house is going to be packed. The Celebration Bowl is sold out a week before the game, or a week of the game. It's already sold out. So we already know the type of crowd is going to be. It's going to be loud. It's going to be absolutely insane. Now today we're going to be taking a first look at this so-called Celebration Bowl game, man. And I definitely want to point out a matchup that I believe is going to be the most interesting, and it could be a game changer. And I want to take a look at, the secondary of South Carolina State versus the receivers of Jackson State. Now, I don't know, me looking at the schedule, this could be the first time that Shedeur Sanders goes up against, two corners that are first team all-conference players. Both of these guys are lockdown corners, for real. Both of these guys are NFL prospects, and Jacoby Durant may be top 3 best players, not just defensive players, but players overall heading into this Celebration Bowl. And his partner, Saphir Kelly, he's lockdown corner as well. Keith Corbin, Malachi Wyman, Travante Rucker, Josh Lanier, Shane Hooks, they're gonna have to face that, and alongside with the safeties of Jalen Barr and Jalen Evans, these guys could really play defense. Now, the downfall of South Carolina State, has been for that as a team they only have 25 sacks, which is not a lot. It's kind of in the middle of the pack. Closer to the lower tier when it comes to pressure. They do have Jabanowski Green, number 34. He has 19 and a half tackles for loss, but he only has 3.5 sacks. So that kind of tells the picture of, how much pressure that they're really causing the backfield in terms of sacks. Because as a team, they have 15 all-conference players. And they have 7 of them that play defense. So, but with these two guys, Saphir and Jacoby Durant, they're going to have to face Keith Corbin and Malachi. And that could be, that matchup right there could be the difference in how this game goes. Because with South Carolina State, they're going to, they can't try and run up the score. That can't be their game plan because they know what type of team Jackson State is. This is a heavy defensive team with all conference guys all over the place, transferred all over the place. So I think what South Carolina State is going to try and do is run the clock out. They're going to try and run down as much time as possible, and they're going to have to try and play real good defense. Now, South Carolina State does have a good enough defense to compete. Even though they do give up, 27 points per game, and they give up over 300 yards per game. And I wonder, I'm kind of curious to see what South Carolina State does in order to stop Jackson State's offense. Now, it's not a secret that everybody's seen the SWAC championship game. And it was kind of a struggle for Shedeur Sanders in that game, which is why they had to lean on the running game. And if he can't get the pass game going, especially against this secondary, there's a pretty good chance that that's going to happen again. The running game, both teams are going to need their running game for this one. I think this is going to be the best cornerback tandem that Jackson State has faced all year. and they're going to have to be real careful. I think South Carolina State may end up playing cover 2 man. I think that will be their best bet because they do a lot of 4. Jackson State does run a lot of 4 wide and 5 wide, and both safeties are not the most aggressive. Because these guys, South Carolina State is a little tricky when it comes to their blitzing. They will blitz the corners every now and then. I haven't seen too many teams that Jackson State has went up against that they'll have their cornerback blitzing off the edge. So South Carolina State does do that from time to time. But both of these corners are really aggressive when it comes to the passing game. They're always in your face. They're not afraid to play press man. They're not afraid to do it. And they don't mind playing in the slot either. These 2 guys are 2 of the best cornerback tandems in HBCU football, and possibly top 3 best in the MEAC. But with Jacoby Durant being the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year, you kind of have to wonder how much of an impact he's gonna create when it comes to him being on the field, and how often is Shedeur Sanders going to throw toward Keith Corbin way? Because I promise you this, I'm pretty sure that Coach is going to have Jacoby follow Keith Corbin all over the field. Because, look, he's not afraid to go up against their best receiver, against anybody's best receiver. And that's one thing about him, and what I like about Jacoby is that he'll play man on against anybody. He's in anybody's face, and he plays, and he's real fast on his feet. He's really quick, and he don't mind coming up and hitting you. And that's what I like about both of these guys, is that both of these guys don't mind tackling. I think it was one game where Jacoby Durant actually had 10 tackles, which is, matter of fact, he played against FAMU, and he had 10 tackles. And to be honest with you, this game can mirror that game that South Carolina State is going to be going up against. Both Jackson State and FAMU have really, really good defenses, top 2 in the SWAC. And, South Carolina State couldn't really score on FAMU, so I'm real interested to see what the offense does against Jackson State. But this secondary and the receiving core of Jackson State, to me, is going to be the big difference in this game and how those 2 play against each other. So I'm just real interested to see what type of coverage, what has Coach seen from Jackson State that will make them victorious or at least slow down this offense. Because there has been a few instances this year where Jackson State didn't start off high. They started off slow versus Valley State, and they started off slow versus Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman and Delta State. So they started off slow on a few games this year. So, I'm interested to see what South Carolina State does to slow down Jackson State's offense. Because I tell you this, if the secondary could hold their own versus this receiving core, it's going to be real interesting to see what the running game does against this defense. So, look, I can't wait to see it. There's more matchups that I'm really waiting to see, but I really do believe that Jacoby Durant is definitely top 3 best players heading into, the Celebration Bowl, and he can definitely make a big difference if the ball is thrown his way enough. But that's the matchup that I'm gonna love to see. Keith Corbin versus Jacoby Durant. I'm real interested to see that.